Hey everybody. It's not that time yet. I'm just happy because still enjoying life and everything. Quick update. I have not heard back from the company that I would love to work for. I do have an upcoming consultation with a company to speak with them for an hour to give them some background on the FEMA public assistance programs and the disaster recovery grants. Um, so that'll be interesting. And so far, we've been communicating back and forth via text, and I'm getting a very good feeling from the young lady that I'll be speaking with coming up on the 8th of April. So I'm excited about that. Of course, happy about that. And I got another call. I got a call from the county for a grants analyst position. So I have another interview coming up next week, and I did tell them that I have had an interview, and I'm very hopeful that something positive will come from it. But I would love to sit down and interview with them too, just to be able to meet them and um, acquaint myself with them and them with me, just in case in the future. It's always nice to meet new people and stuff, and I can be on somebody else's radar. But I really do want to work for the company that I just had this interview with, and I'm still expecting to hear back from them. So, um, I'm still encouraged about everything that's going on. But what I did want to talk about is that I had traffic court today um, via Zoom. So, of course, that's why I'm wearing my little outfit today. Um, Bigsby and Carruthers. Okay. All right. Um, So I was accused of running a red light and almost hitting a police officer in their vehicle. And I got pulled over. And indeed, I did make a right turn on red and came pretty close to making contact with the police officer. So they put their lights on and they pulled me over and everything. And, thank God my driver's license was cool. I had my insurance, the registration. I have the paperwork, but they can run that from the plates and see that it's active and that I am who I say I am. So I was cool with all of that. And I had a court date of February, early February, on the day actually of my wife's cousin's funeral. So I had my Zoom traffic court meeting in my car while I was on the way to the funeral. So I was able to pull over real quickly and let them know that I do want to go to trial. I do want to have a trial, I should say, but I wouldn't be able to have it today on that particular day because I had some Freedom of Information Act request. I was trying to get the dash cam footage and the body worn camera footage from the police officers at the time of the stop. So I wanted to establish what the circumstances were the around the traffic stop because they wrote me up for disobeying a traffic signal. So um, I had my continuance from that time from February until today, April the 2nd. And I showed up for court today. And thank God I'm in the mood to wear a shirt and tie and want to look professional and everything. So um, I showed up. I was the first one to log in. So they called my case first and they asked, did I want to plead not guilty and have a trial, or do I want to plead guilty and go for the offer that the city's going to propose? I told them I would like to go to trial. So they went through everybody else's case until they got back to me. And but in the meantime, the police said, "Okay, we're working on getting the body worn camera footage for you, but we need to extend the time because understandably, there's some things that may need to be redacted." So I didn't know what need to be redacted. It's not my business per se. So they finally came back with a letter that says, "Okay, well, there's no body worn camera footage." So at first they wanted to redact some stuff, but then they say there's nothing to give you. So that's usually what the police are going to tell you, and that's why it's always good for you to record. your interactions with the police when you have the opportunity, because just because they tell you that they have the body worn camera footage does not mean that you're going to get it. And if you do get it, it doesn't mean that you're going to get it in its full in the entirety of what the interaction was. So there was no body worn camera footage available for me. There was no dash camera footage available. There was also no footage from the cameras that are on the poles. So it had two poles that had cameras running, and those that footage was not available either. And as I understand it, it's actually that would come through the streets and sanitation department. But when I went to the police department to put in my Freedom of Information Act request, they said, yeah, we run the footage on the pole or whatever. So just add it to your request. And, they should be able to email everything to you. So needless to say, the police department provided me with no camera footage or no anything. So the police officer showed up for my case. A couple of the police officers for other people didn't show up today. So a guy who was driving 71 in a 45, his case got dismissed. Another guy's case got dismissed when I want to say he didn't have a license or something, and his case was actually dismissed. So it was my luck that my officer would show up. So we finally got to my case, and the city lawyer questioned him, you know, um, what's your name? Gave his name. What's your star number? Um, have you what district do you work in? How long have you been a police officer? Did you successfully pass the training at the academy? Were you on duty that night? What did you see? So, and he also asked him how many lanes of travel in the direction you were going down on Wacker Avenue where it intersects with Michigan Avenue. And he said it's 2 lanes of traffic. We all know that on Wacker Drive, going east and west, there are 3 lanes when you're heading west. Right lane, middle lane, left turning lane. And on the other side, there's actually a right turning lane, a second right lane, another middle lane that goes forward, and then a turning lane. So it's 4 lanes on one side, 3 lanes in the direction of travel that he was heading on going west. So when the attorney asked him how many lanes of travel was in you all's direction, he said 2. I wrote my little note. Okay, I'm about to get you on that. He asked him about the traffic control device. He said, well, there's a standard traffic light, red, yellow, green. Red being stop, yellow being yield, and green meaning go. So I'm like, okay, I got you again because it's 5 lights on there. It's a red, yellow, green, yellow turning, green turning. So it's 5 control devices on that one particular traffic lamp. So I'm just making notes real quick. So he asked him all the questions. Well, what did you observe? Well, I saw Mr. Fielder run through the red light, make a right turn, and he almost hit us. How far away was it? Oh, about 10, 15 feet away. So I'm just keeping my notes. So then it's my time to question him. And I said, Officer Monterez, you stated that there are 2 lanes of travel in your direction, correct? Yes. Said, so are you aware that there are actually 3 lanes of travel in your direction? There's a right lane, a middle lane, and a left turning lane. I wasn't aware. Oh, okay. I said, and in terms of the traffic device, are you aware that there's a turning light in the direction of travel you were going? No, I wasn't. I said, okay. Um, and then I asked if there was no car next to you, would there still be a traffic light now that you've acknowledged that there is a traffic turning signal there? He wasn't aware. I said, if there was a car coming from the opposite direction trying to turn left, would that turning light still show green on your side and on their side? He's not aware. I said, if there were no cars coming in either direction trying to turn left, would that traffic turning light activate? He's not aware. So it's actually the kind of intersection. It's not a smart intersection. It's an intersection where if there are no cars in the left or in the left turning lane in either direction, then there's still a traffic turning signal that you have to wait to go from green to yellow. Then your light turns green. So it's not like one of the intersections where it recognizes if there's another car, and if there's no car over there, then they get no turning light, and you all get the green light and the turning light. So I had established that there are more lanes that you thought. There were more traffic control devices on that traffic turning signal. And then I established that there was actually a car going in your direction and there was no car coming in the other direction. And and I asked him, were they on an emergency call at the time? He said, no, they weren't on an emergency call. I didn't even get to the point where your lights illuminated because they weren't. But I asked, were you on an emergency call? So I established that there was a car next to you in the left turning lane that had a turning light, and that your partner proceeded through the light on a red. You did not have a green and you weren't in an emergency. And then I asked him, are you the police officer that came up to the right side of my car? He wasn't aware. He doesn't remember. So I didn't even ask him the question, are you the one who wrote the ticket? Which he was. It kind of slipped my mind. But I tried to establish that you were not the driver, you were the passenger. You came up to my side of the car not knowing that the driver is on the right side instead of the left. So I asked, and the attorney objected because I asked the question in such a complex manner, and the judge sustained it and asked me to uncomplicate the question. So I just asked him, as you were the passenger, are you the officer that walked up to the right side of my car and requested my driver's license and insurance? And he said he didn't recall. So I asked another question, I forgot what it was, but the attorney objected again. I think he objected 3 times. So they had to go to the next traffic court date time, which was at 2:30. Ours was at 1:30. So they had to break away for a few seconds just to let them know that we're continuing the trial, but we'll be right back. So he asked me, did I have any more questions for him? And I had exhausted all of my questions. I couldn't think of, the ones about if you were the passenger, are you the one who wrote me the ticket? Does your name show up on the ticket? I could have asked that, but I didn't. So I didn't have any more questions. And then he asked the lawyer, do you have any questions for Mr. Fielder? He said no, and I was kind of shocked. He didn't try to ask me any questions to get some further clarification about what I was asking for. So the judge said, "Well, do I have a statement I would like to make?" After he asked, and we both said we don't have any more questions. I said yes. I said my contention is that I was at a full and complete stop at that stop sign at the stoplight. There was no turn on red sign, and that while my acceleration in the turn may have made it appear to the officer that I did not stop, that was not the case. And the actual fact was that the officer, the officers were sitting at a red light with a left turning signal, and they are the ones who disregarded their control device. And that's what almost caused the accident. And I left it at that. And I was worried because they have the burden of proof to be the preponderance of the evidence, not beyond a reasonable doubt and all of that stuff. So they just have to basically show that, yes, he's a police officer, duly appointed, on duty, doing what he's supposed to be doing at this particular time, and this is what he saw. And this guy ran a red stoplight and almost hit us. So what they did before, and I have to digress, I should have said this before. Before the actual trial started, they said, well, you could either plead guilty and accept their offer, or you could go to trial, and if you lose, you're going to have to pay a $300 fine, $254.50 in court costs, and they're offering you and the lawyer offered me 4 months supervision. So I said, well, um, I'm sorry, if I accepted the offer, it would be $100 for the fine instead of 300. If I lost, it would be 300 plus 250, 250 for 50. So that would be $554 if I lost. If I accepted the offer, it would be a total of 354 plus 4 months supervision. So I said, well, Your Honor, no, I don't want to accept their offer. You know, I if I have a misunderstanding as to what um, not adhering to the control device means, then I'll learn from this experience and it won't happen again. But no, I definitely would like to go to trial. So the judge said that the city had not proven its case beyond the preponderance of the evidence because he did not fully understand what exactly happened, and not that the police officer was telling any untruths or that I wasn't telling any untruth. Um, but he did say that they did not prove their case because I relied on the fact that there was a red light in the absence of a no turn on red sign. I stopped, I made a turn, and they're the ones who disregarded their traffic control device. So I didn't have to pay anything. Um, and I got off without any supervision, didn't have to pay any court costs, nothing. So I made sure to tell the judge, thank you so much, Your Honor. I appreciate this opportunity. And I thanked the attorney and I thanked the officer. So um, it's still a good day. So I won my traffic court case. So, um, and I'm hoping to hurry up and get back with you all about good news about the job, but it's not today. So, um, you all continue to be blessed, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.